You know that energy healing is about focusing our attention intelligently, right? Okay. So what I want everyone to do just for a moment, we're going to get in touch with, familiar with this part of our brain's intelligence, which is very, very primordial and deep. So we think thoughts up in this area and we really feel in the limbic system, but it's that really deep area of the brain where impulses of intelligence are very nonverbal and even beyond feeling, deeper than feeling, impulses. And it's way back in the brain stem. So what we're going to do is locate with our awareness a place which is behind the back of the throat. You can feel your throat, and you go back behind the back of the throat a little bit up, and just, so imagine my throat's here and I'm looking at the part this is, what do they call it? On the side like that. And we're looking at that part just behind the back of the throat, which is the brainstem. The tegmental area, it goes up into the fourth ventricle. It's a very sort of deep area of the brain. We're just going to take a moment, put the attention right there. The first thing you'll notice when we put the attention is it activates. It wakes up that level of the brain, of the nervous system. The next thing you'll notice is that when that part of the nervous system wakes up, bliss flows. Bliss flows. This is the part of the brain that produces bliss. It produces the area that creates dopamine, and beautiful. It's right there. The intelligence that radiates or emanates from this level. You may be feeling right now, by the way, through the whole body, the bliss starting to flow, but the intelligence that radiates from this area, it's all inclusive. It's before the intelligence, when it radiates, it's this primordial experience before the flow of consciousness reaches the parts of the brain that separate out into happy experience, not happy experience. That happens in the limbic system, right? In the caudate, the pleasure center and the pain center, right? Before that. So this impulse of bliss, it's beyond happy and sad. It's beyond good and bad. It's very, very complete. And it truly represents the nature of human experience, which is what we're all here doing. We're all here for this. I'm offering that experience back to source. And when it goes back to the source of creation, there's a channel opening up in our physiologies, kind of like the shape of the necklace, right? It's kind of opening up like this down to the heart area. So that bliss comes to the heart, and it opens up at the crown of the head. I'm just looking through the group, just watching as the connection at the crown of the head stabilizes our relationship with that structure in creation, which is responsible for heart intelligence, for heart's intelligence. There's an energetic heart system in the body. And that includes the heart chakra, the heart mahamarma, also the physical heart, also the circulatory system, also some of the other organs that are in this area that are really vital expressions of our highest intelligence and holistic expression of our highest intelligence, like the respiratory system, You know, it has that, the respiratory systems where we connect between universal and individual. So this is a download for this whole area of the physiology. And this is quite the center. The heart chakra is the center of the whole chakra system. And so it's like we're going into the center where all the spokes of the wheel come out. It's interesting that in yesterday's session, we did an exercise for activating and enlivening the intelligence in the brainstem. And I was reviewing that last night. So as part of our review, I wanted to add one little thing, which is if we breathe through our noses, what happens is the air, we did some healing with the elements yesterday, just saying, speaking of air, and when I say elements, I mean the 5 elements: air, space, air, fire, water, and earth, as in those elements. The air passes into the nasal passages and it goes down into the lungs, and it passes right past that area, that brainstem area, which is just behind the throat, essentially. Just behind the mouth, the nasal area, and the throat. So it's back in that area. And what I found was that the air has an enlivening effect when attention is already on the brainstem. So I thought we would just take a moment. This is kind of like step 2 of yesterday's exercise. Step 1 of yesterday's exercise was attention on the brainstem. Step 2, we're just going to quietly take a moment, allow awareness or attention to be in that area of the nervous system, which is just behind the sinuses, mouth, and throat. And breathe through the nose. And notice how the air supports the awakening of this area of our nervous system. Bless you. You can, it feels as if it's bringing lightness, because air is naturally light. It's bringing lightness to that area, yes? Can you feel it? The air is full of prana. Hi, the air is full of prana. It's full of life force. It's full of that quality-less divine being. So when we breathe in through our noses, that quality, that life force that's in the air adds to the consciousness of our being that's going into the brainstem and awakens it even further. So simple. You can do this anytime. The implications of awakening this part of the brain are huge, because the brainstem area, and when I talk about that, I'm also referencing into part of the limbic system, into the 4th and 3rd ventricle of the brain, where many of the regulating organs for the autonomic functionings in the body reside. So organs that do things like regulate appetite, or the hypothalamus, which is basically monitoring everything that goes on inside the body and is an administrator. It like gives the orders to the pituitary and other administrative organs so that the immune system and the endocrine system and the digestive system and the circulatory system and all these systems that we think of as systems of our body, which are on automatic and we don't have any control over them. You see what I'm saying? The implications for awakening awareness of the way our consciousness or creative intelligence moves through the brainstem area provides access for consciously promoting impulses of intelligence, which will positively impact even aspects of the autonomic nervous system. We've grown up in a world where the body is considered quite a mystery, and most of the functions of the body outside the range of our autonomy, access, or control. But ever since I was a child, I remember hearing stories about yogis in India who could like stop their blood from flowing and things like that. And I was just like, oh, well, that's just so unusual and one of a kind type of situation. No, it actually isn't. This is how it's done. This is how it's done. Access to the area of the brain that controls that part of the body is awakened.